Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
You know, people will go completely nuts over shipping, but as the oldest of 3 siblings, some of my favorite stuff to see in animation is really strong sibling relationships. Specifically, ones where the siblings are just the absolute best of friends. Of course, you're probably immediately thinking of Phineas and Ferb, Dipper and Mabel, Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Wait, Huey, Dewey, and Louie? No, their names were supposed to be Jet, Turbo, and Rebel.
I could have been Turbo?
I told Donald. I wrote it down in case no one could understand him.
I could have been Turbo!
And I'm gonna do another video talking about Kevin and Gretel further down the road because their relationship is absolutely the best part of Hamster and Gretel. But those are all core elements of their respective shows. Molly and Daryl's relationship is not the focus of The Ghost and Molly McGee. The core of the show is, well, The Ghost and Molly McGee. There's a lot of episodes that Daryl's not even in, but when we do get to see the two of them just being siblings, it's a real treat. Because, like everything in the show, their relationship feels so freaking authentic. It's really easy to see why the two of them are so close. Molly's 13 and Daryl's probably 11 or 12, so the two of them are about as close in age as you can get without just being twins or step-siblings. And because Molly and her family have moved around so much, Daryl is really the only consistent friend Molly's ever had before moving to Brighton. It would have been so easy to just make Daryl the reckless, rule-breaking little brother character, in contrast to Molly being an optimistic goody two-shoes, but the two of them aren't just that, and they have a lot in common. Molly and Daryl both have a great relationship with their parents, which is something I'm planning on coming back to in a video later this month. They both come up with elaborate schemes.
This isn't a super fun surprise. This is a Molly scheme.
I remember there was a prisoner pickup nearby because of our highway cleanup. So I gave the teachers orange jumpsuits to blend in on the bus. And I forged a note from Principal O'Connor to make their team building day seem legit.
They both love horror movies.
Fins of fear. If you see the fin, you're finished.
And they both actively enjoy doing things like community service. The biggest difference between Molly and Daryl is that Daryl gets into trouble a lot at school. I think that both McGee kids are likely neurodivergent. I know, a couple of super creative and somewhat eccentric kids being neurodivergent? The devil, you say! Molly's a star student and gives everything 110%, and perhaps her biggest issue is that she's too kind and helpful, to the point where she does things like forget to do her own project, or have no control over a bunch of rowdy kids that she was put in charge of for a play. Daryl has issues focusing at school, which is what causes him to get into shenanigans. But he doesn't do this stuff out of malice or contempt. He just genuinely doesn't know what else to do with himself. And the school really isn't even trying to help him out. They just throw punishments at him and nothing works.
I believe the fair punishment is 6 years detention.
But middle school's only 3 years.
Not at the rate you're going.
And there's definitely a lot more I can say about that in a future video about neurodivergent representation. But what's really sweet is how much he looks up to Molly. It's evident in little moments like this one where Molly and Daryl are greeting Grandma Nin. Look at the way Daryl double checks to make sure he's copying Molly's movement correctly. In no good deed, Daryl's gotten in trouble yet again for a stunt involving a janitor's cart. And Molly has the idea to try and give him nice lessons.
Welcome, class, to my first ever seminar, How to Be...
No! Being good's for suckers!
Hey! Please refrain from distracting the other students.
This seems to work, but then Daryl takes what he's learned from Molly in completely the wrong direction, thinking that getting rid of the teachers will make everyone happy.
I followed your lessons to a T. I saw there was a problem, so I took responsibility to think of others and find a solution.
You sent our teachers to prison?
By your face, I can tell that you're proud?
Sorry, I just want to preserve this moment. And one more with the failure filter.
Molly and Daryl try to break the teachers out of prison, but they don't really get anywhere because Scratch gets shocked by the electric fence and ends up basically acting drunk.
I'm just no good at being good. I'm always gonna be bad.
You're not gonna be perfect overnight. Give it time.
And of course, in Season 2's Double Double Daryl in Trouble, we see that this is something Daryl still struggles with.
Let me guess, you're here to give me a Molly lecture about being good.
actively wears that little bracelet Molly made for him. He loves his big sis and looks up to her so much. It's so sweet. Like I said, I'm going to talk about the parental side of things in a video a little bit down the road, but while Molly enjoys having shelled Daryl for a little while, she quickly comes to realize that she needs her actual little brother. The one who will help her with sound effects during a presentation, and watch scary movies that they're not allowed to watch, and plan elaborate soda heists.
Come in, sunshine. Do you copy? Papa Bear has entered the cave.
What does that mean? Are you talking to me or Molly? Over.
Ugh, amateurs.
And yeah, the two of them butt heads and get on each other's nerves on occasion, but that's true of all siblings.
And to prepare, I need my best kitchen helpers.
Best? You're obviously talking about me, though. I understand you can't say that due to familial obligations.
If this is about that one time I used salt in the sticky rice, I was 5!
Each of them has a unique brand of chaotic energy, and they balance each other out. Daryl absolutely adores Molly and looks up to her. She's a strong role model for him who tries her best to steer him in the right direction, but she's also not above being a little bit bad to do a little good, or maybe even just have a little fun, and I think that's because of Daryl.
Maybe instead try WWDDTWGHIT. What would Daryl do that won't get him in trouble?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, I need a drink of water.
This is what happens when you don't respect the code names.